Well, joining me now is one half of the dynamic duo who founded the Landlord Investment Shows. It's lovely, seriously, to be able to welcome Tracey Hanbury back to Property Tribes. And Tracey, I thought it would be so great to catch up with you because we haven't really spoken to you since lockdown. And of course, being an events company, as soon as lockdown was announced, your whole business model just went into complete disarray. So what have the last 6 months been like for you at LIS?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been a time of complete uncertainty. I mean, just to kind of explain really briefly, it's obviously we were due to kick off our sort of 2020 calendar on the 19th of March, and that should have been our national show at Olympia. And only up to sort of the week, we obviously knew that things weren't going right in the world and that there was, that this awful COVID situation. But I honestly can say, and I've spoken to so many other events companies, that even up to, sort of the week before that, or when actually Boris locked down, no, everything's going to be okay. The show, Olympia was still open. They were telling us to still go ahead with the event. It's absolutely fine. And then I think it came around, if I've got the date wrong, but excuse me, around the sort of 15th, 16th of March, I think then Boris made an announcement very, very quickly. Overnight, it changed to say no unnecessary travel, only go out if you really need to, don't go to sort of large scale events. And of course, as you know, Olympia for us, is normally 4,000 people throughout the day, and it's absolutely buzzing. So there we were in the office, everything ready to go. There's still now, we've only just come back to our office since the 12th of March, and it's thousands of delegate bags packed, thousands of magazines ready for the show. And then really, Boris didn't make life wasn't made easier. One, because the venue wouldn't cancel the event, and I guess that was probably to protect themselves with a bit on the insurance. We weren't able to claim any sort of losses, anything back at all. Of course, if we cancelled, then our contract was void. So we were sort of hanging out. Everyone was sort of saying, no, it'd be fine. And then we kind of looked and made the decision and said, no, we cannot, we can't expect people to travel. We can't put ourselves, our exhibitors, our staff, and things got really serious very, very quickly. And I think, in all honesty, we were in absolute shock, because I think when you work in the events industry, so many things can go wrong with shows. How can you get the right amount of people there? Is everything going to, is your program set up okay? Is it the information that people want? People going to come out? And I think really all of that was in place. And obviously nobody ever thought about a pandemic hitting. So yeah, it was a very uncertain time. Quite a bit of a shock to the system, really. But yeah, we've not been able to obviously have any shows this year whatsoever. It was completely grounded. So all of our business, all the shows that were booked for sort of fast forwarding for Q4, we were hoping to get back September, October. All of our events were 90% full for this year, booked, but obviously you can't invoice people because if you can't put a show on, how do you expect that? So we've really had to think of other ways. We were hoping to get back sort of September, October, November to run the 4 other shows, which would have been Midlands, Manchester, Cardiff, and obviously London. And I think only sort of now until 3 weeks ago, we realised that it's just not going to happen, and made the decision that it's not going to happen, so let's look for another platform. But so yeah, I mean, of everything that could happen in the world of events, this was certainly none of us were prepared for at all, whatsoever.
Well, it must have been incredibly stressful for you and Steve the last few months. I can't imagine what you've been through, but in the inimitable Hanbury style, you're such a positive couple and you've bounced back. And that's really what the purpose of this interview is, to really herald the arrival of your new online super conferences. And this is obviously a trend that we've seen massively over the last few months with some other areas of the property sector, the educational sector and the networking sector. So it does make obvious sense. We're talking on Zoom now, Tracey, for instance, which before we would always come and meet you in your offices. So tell us about what you've got planned for these online super conferences.
Yeah, sure. So I think, well, you know, it's exciting, it's scary, but I think it's obviously the only way forward now. You know, so basically what we decided to do, we were actually in the middle of developing an app for the shows that we were hoping to launch this year. So we were working with, you know, quite a really good tech company, thankfully. So that framework was up and running. Then sort of, you know, in between lockdown and in these last 6 months, we've looked at a plan B. So now the plan B has to take place, and the response has been absolutely overwhelming, to be fair. So on the 8th of October, we'll be launching the first online super show, and that will basically cover the Midlands, Manchester and the whole north of England. Now, we've combined the Midlands and Manchester because they were quite close together in terms of when we should have been doing those live to events, and it just makes more sense to do that. So initially it will be, you know, it will be an online show. People will log in the morning. So we've already seen a really high number of pre-registered 8th of October to take part. People will log in from 9 a.m. It will run up until 12 o'clock. We'll keep seminars and things live that evening, but generally around, you know, maybe sort of 20 seminars. That'll be a mixture of live seminars. Some clients are, you know, going pre-recorded. People can click into, let's say, if you've got one of our clients as an example, Nova are a main sponsor, as is Loft have committed as a main sponsor, you know, which is great. So they can click into people's profiles as an exhibitor. That client will have a page where it's got their company profile. They can request a meeting, a callback. They can download that client's brochure. So it's very, very interactive. And then there's obviously the seminars that are going on throughout the day as well. So there's a, you know, an array of clients. Our usual, you know, our usual sort of abundance of expert services will be there, from tax to insurance. And then, for example, the Midlands and the Manchester show are obviously still very, very good areas to invest. So we're going to be working with a property analyst to actually talk about, you know, why it's a great time still, or what the opportunities are in those areas. And I think actually, you know, that really opens opens up the audience for us, because as you know, just because you're a landlord in Manchester doesn't mean to say that you necessarily, you know, invest there. We have a huge amount of Londoners that will go up to Manchester and Midlands for the day for exactly that purpose. So trying to put a little bit of a spin on it so we can open up that audience and reach a wider audience, which online will allow us to do. And then the 3rd of November will be our London show. Exactly the same sort of format. So how I would explain it, if you can remember, you know, our show guide, it's almost walking through a live show guide where you've got your agenda, your and then obviously you can connect with people, you know, live, or you can request to download their information, or a callback, or arrange a meeting. So, you know, that's generally how it's how the format will work. Will be the same as a live show would be, but, you know, just online, obviously in the safety and comfort of your own home, your own office. And then I think the other key thing is that, you know, you don't have to stay there all day. People, you know, not going to be able to sit at their screens for those 6-7 hours. So we were allowing people that have logged in access to still download the seminars up to 12 o'clock that night. So with the same process, so yeah, 8th of October is the Midlands and Manchester. So 22nd of October is then Cardiff, exactly the same format. And then the 3rd of November is our London, which should have been our London Olympia, be our London show.
Fantastic. Well, we will put the link to register for the events underneath this video. What about all your incredible special guests that you've had in the past? You know, we've had some very high profile politicians and property commentators. Are they going to be taking part in the live online shows?
Yeah, well, we're hoping to. I mean, I know certainly David Smith, who's the economics editor of the Sunday Times, is very much behind this, and he'll be a great person actually to log in to see, because he's going to be looking at what the landscape looks like for landlords, and has just done a great analysis on that he'll be sharing with us. So David Smith is definitely involved, and we're just waiting to confirm, a couple of politicians that are just still kind of just trying to get things sorted, so they should be making an appearance. And unfortunately, I don't, Andrew Neil, I think he's still locked. He's still locked away. Is somewhere else in another country. Couldn't get back. Couldn't, make it back even in time for the 19th of March show because borders are closed. But we're trying to do, we're trying to maybe get somebody else of key importance. But everyone's important. But yeah, there'll definitely be some very, very good speakers on the day as always.
But there won't be the debates in the kind of in-person format that used to take place in the big auditorium at Olympia. Will they have to be put to one side for now?
I think we're definitely going to do some debates, but I think they're going to have to be pre-recorded and then sort of shown, because it's going to be, as getting, it's the first time that we've done this, and technology sometimes can be a bit of a nightmare. So we're trying to find a way in which we can deliver the big debate. So that will be a pre-recorded, and as soon as we've got all of that announced, and I know that can 100% happen, it's just getting the technology and everyone around at the same time. That is the problem that we've got at the moment. But certainly in terms of all the other seminars and all the other education, there'll be some great stuff around on the day.
Well, it does sound fantastic, Tracey, and I really like that it's customizable to the viewer. They can dip in and out of what they like from the comfort of their armchair, as you said. And I think I'm so glad that you've found this way forward, because for me, with my landlord hat on, your shows were such an important resource for landlords on many levels, particularly obviously the knowledge gathering element of it, and also the networking element of it, and just getting out there and seeing what products and services are available for landlords. And it's we've always said this, Tracey, education is so important, but post COVID-19 it's even more so, because there's all sorts of headwinds heading towards landlords in the future. We're hearing about different things every day that could really be a speed bump to being a landlord, and your show always provides answers, solutions and products and services that help make landlord life easier. So even though the format has changed slightly, I'm so glad that you found this way forwards.
Yeah, it's completely 360 degree. I mean, obviously we love meeting up, we love seeing our clients, we love meeting so many people that come out to the shows, but I'd like to also thank so many people that have been really supportive in what's been an absolutely very difficult time, and not only with the business, but some emotional sort of losses that we've had throughout this as well. And thank you to everyone that's absolutely been amazing, and that have supported us. And I'm so glad to say, we've converted so many of our clients now that have said, what, you guys, let's just give this a go. And you're right, it will be a different way of doing it. It's the only way we can do it for now, and it's the safest way of doing it. But more now than ever, people need advice. And, as there's so many things going on in this market at the moment, with the evictions alone. And it's just, people really need as much advice and as much information. But actually, one of the things that we did find, and one of the things that really spurred us on to say, okay, this is the right thing to do, is that property is still very buoyant out there. I think we did a survey, and about 71% of our UK landlord database came back and said that they are still investing. So, I think with everything going on in the world and there's much uncertainty, it proves again that it's a long time investment, and it's a safe investment. Property will always be that. So I think, it could be, stronger and better, and, better people involved in it for the long term. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
No, absolutely. And I think the other thing, Tracey, is we found here at Property Tribes is that during lockdown, a lot of landlords and people that weren't even starting in property yet had a chance to reflect on what really mattered to them in life. And I think certainly at Property Tribes we've seen a massive insurge of new members, people that are interested in becoming landlords for the first time. And only today there was news of a survey that said a very significant amount of new landlords. I can't remember the percentage, so otherwise I would quote it, but I don't want to get it wrong. I can put a link under the article, but it said that there is a very big influx is the word of new landlords who are looking to get started in buy-to-let. So your online super shows are going to be ideal for them.
Yeah, 100%. And we're the same. We found a huge new audience in terms of people subscribing to the magazine and Property Notify, the other news portal. And I think right at the beginning of this, we really didn't know what was going to happen, where this was going. And one of the things we decided to do was our landlord survival guides, which we published right at the beginning of this, I think for the first 7 or 8 weeks. And that was just, really something that we could, all of our exhibitors that were meant to be on that floor at Olympia were invited to, provide a piece about how their services are going to help or how they could work in this situation, or some advice. And then we actually did some seminars online, and we had thousands and thousands of people downloading them, absolutely. And we saw a huge amount of new subscribers to the database. So I think you're absolutely right. People are 100%. There's a lot of new people coming into the market, without a doubt. And I think that will certainly continue. So you're right. It's about education, kind of gearing yourself up for that journey, and knowing, and trying to avoid the pitfalls. And there's certainly many of those, but I think in any industry out there, it's not going to be easy for a little while. I think everyone needs to be, gear themselves up for, to prepare and get as much information before they go into anything at the moment.
Well, we've been saying all along that COVID has definitely amplified the risks of being a landlord, and that does mean that landlords do have to become even more educated, and they need to use all those wonderful resources that are out there, including the online shows. Property Tribes, the NRLA are doing some really good stuff as well. So much free stuff out there to assist people, but Tracey, your shows always are a real class act. You always have such good commentators and such good companies that support landlords. So definitely an online destination now, not just, an offline one, which, if we talked about this 7 or 8 months ago, we couldn't have envisaged it. But I think COVID has forced innovation, hasn't it? So, as often in these cases, this could actually turn out to have a very positive slant to it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I was looking back at some stuff that you and I did at the end of last year, and it was all about our 2020 vision. I mean, you might as well rip that up and throw it right in there. However, it has been a time where, we've certainly had to look at things that we never thought we would. And, I am useless with technology, getting a Zoom call, everyone laughs at me, but I've had to really get to grips with all of this, which has been very, very new, and look at different ways of doing everything, So, yeah, in that sense, it's definitely broadened our horizons and, whatever challenges, it's trying to just overcome them. But you're right. And I think we've also seen quite a high level from even out, overseas, people inquiring that actually want to get involved, that are investors, from Dubai and all over the place, that are obviously looking at the UK market and what's going on at the moment. So the nice thing is that those people that couldn't get out to the show on the days, they can still be part of it. I think it could be, we may never put a banner up again behind us. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I'm hoping that we do, because we love our live events, and it's and I'm sure we will get back to it. And we've actually got our full calendar already planned for next year, because we work 2 years in advance. So I think the first show is due to kick off in Billingsgate, which is our new London home, on the 25th of February. Then in Manchester in March. and then we're Cardiff, and then I think back in London again. So I'll send you over all the dates for next year. But, you know, I think also in terms of the event industry, you know, we're looking at obviously maybe then once we do get back to live is actually mixing this up with this, you know, this app that we're going to have, that we can still, you know, we can live stream from anywhere, and it'll probably, yeah, it'll absolutely open up doors that we never thought were there. So who knows? Let's see what happens.
It's really interesting that you said that about, you know, now being able to access a worldwide audience, because there is a great deal of interest from outside of the UK in investing in UK property. So you're going to pick up all of those people that couldn't physically have come from Hong Kong or Asia or wherever it might be. And that now you've got a whole new audience. So it's lovely to finish on a positive note and to see you guys smiling. You're troopers, I know. We will put the dates of the new online super shows beneath the thread. We would urge everybody to log in and register, even if it's just that you want to access the recordings of the seminars and whatnot after the event, if you aren't able to attend live for whatever reason. But just really to say, Tracey, all the best to you, Steve, and the LIS team. I'm guessing there's not going to be any awards this year.
No, that's so gutting. I mean, again, that was all sorted and everything was all done, and you know, money's paid. But look, they've rolled our date over to next year. So yeah, we did kind of toy with the idea of doing it online, but I just think, you know, with getting these 3 shows now, it's just one step too far when we've, you know, too many other things to worry about. But it is such a shame. We're really going to miss that. But, you know, we will certainly look forward to, you know, have that up and running again. I think we've actually, well, they've rolled it over to the 22nd of November next year back at the Grosvenor. So we'll just have to wait on that one, unfortunately.
Well, we will keep everything crossed for the actual in-person shows in 2021. But for now, we love you guys. We're here for you, and we'll look forward to joining in with the online shows.
Thank you, guys. We can't wait to be part of it. And thanks again, Property Tribes, as always, for everything. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.